Hey friends, today I'm going to show you how to make this super easy DIY one shoulder jumpsuit with crop pant legs. Let's get started. For this jumpsuit, I folded in half my fabric from selvage to selvage, and I'm using a pair of old jeans that fit me well. I'm going to cut around these jeans using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I started at the back crotch seam, fold it in half, and I am using a 1 inch hem allowance. I folded the jeans up to the length that I wanted them to be. Once I got down to the bottom of the crotch seam, I did that 1/2 inch seam allowance and I flared it out so that I would have a wider pant leg. And then I'm using that 1 inch hem allowance to mark my placement for the other side. So I folded it up to the front crotch seam and I'm going to angle down my waist cut. So the waistline is shorter in the front than the back. So I have a 1 inch allowance at the top right above the waistline for the front and the back. And again, I'm making the pants wider at the bottom than the top, but there's a 1/2 inch seam allowance along the sides. So I'm going to pin up those crotch seams and I'm going to take it to the machine and I'm going to sew with a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch. So just from the top of the waistline down to the bottom of the crotch seam on the front and the back. So now that that's sewn up, I opened up the pants to make them real pant legs, and I'm going to match up the center crotch seams and place a pin, and then I'm going to match up the bottom of the pant legs and all the way around down along the sides of the pant legs, placing pins, and I'm going to take that to the machine and sew down from one end to the other using a stretch stitch or a zigzag stitch. So now that those are sewn together, I'm going to put those out of the way and work on the top. So I'm using a tank top that fits me well and I'm folding up to my natural waistline. So that's the length that I need it to be, and then I'm folding down one of the shoulders down to the armpit area of the tank. And I'm going to cut around the edge using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I only did a 1/2 inch at the bottom because I am using my serger to attach the top to the bottom, but you may want to use a 1 inch allowance at the bottom so that you'll have more space when you attach the top and the bottom piece together. And after that's cut out, I'm going to take it to the machine and I'm going to stitch down the sides and across the shoulder using a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch. Now that that's all sewn up, we're going to attach the top to the bottom. So I've turned the pants to the front, and I know that it's the front because the back waistline is taller than the front and the crotch seam is longer in the back than the front. So I'm sectioning these pants off, placing pins at the sides, and I'm going to use the crotch seams as the middle guide mark. And I'm doing the same thing for the top, sectioning it off. I'm placing pins in the center front and center back of the top, and I'm going to use the side seams as my side marks. And I'm going to turn the top inside out and upside down. And I'm going to tuck the pants into the shirt. And I'm going to match up the pins and the seams. So the center front of the pants to the center front pin of the top, the side seam of the top to the side pin of the pants, the center back crotch seam to the center pin of the top, and the other side seam of the top to the side pin of the pants. And I'm going to take that to my machine and I'm going to stretch and stitch. I have to stretch the top in order for it to match the pants because the top is way smaller than the pants. Now you may only have this issue if you have a really small waist and really large hips like I do. But just stretch and stitch. So now we have to hem the bottom and the top. So I'm going to fold up a full inch and I'm going to create a casing so that I can insert the elastic. So fold up a full inch, and I'm going to sew around as close to the edge as possible, but I'm going to leave a 1-inch opening on both pant legs so that I'll be able to insert the elastic. And then we're going to fold down one time on the top, 1/2 inch, and sew all the way around. And it's just one time because this is a neoprene fabric. You can do it twice if you use any other kind of stretch knit. And now that that's sewn up, we're going to insert the elastic. Now, the way that I measured my elastic, I'm using a 1/2 inch elastic strip. I wrapped it around my calf area, and I made it snug, subtracted 1 inch so that it'll be fitted around my calf. And I'm using a safety pin to channel it through the hole, and I'm going to feed it all the way around. And once I get to the end of the other end of the elastic, I am going to pin it so that I don't lose it into the channel. So the pins are holding it in place as I feed the other end all the way around. And then once I get back around to the hole, I remove the pins and I pull out both pieces of elastic, and I'm going to overlap them. And I'm going to take them to the machine and zigzag back and forth a few times. And I've done that on both pant legs. So now that I have the elastic attached together, I am going to feed it back through the channel, put it inside of the hole, and I'm going to stretch it out again and close up the openings. And that is it. If you are interested in making this duster, there is a tutorial link down in the description box down below. There's also a link for the fabric from So Blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you again soon. Bye.